Folks, do I need to keep screaming this from the rooftops? I keep saying it. I keep telling you that NXT is the best wrestling show on the planet. It is better than Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Collision, Impact. It is the best show, and tonight was further proof with NXT No Mercy absolutely knocking it out of the park. Here is my review of NXT No Mercy. I'm going to have very little editing here because I wasn't planning on making a review of this, but the show absolutely blew me away and I had to talk about it. And hey, as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, yada, yada, yada. You know the drill. Subscribe. This is the best wrestling channel on YouTube. So yeah, just do it, okay? All right. So yes, for a long time, I've been saying for people to watch NXT. I know a lot of people migrated away from NXT after they took NXT Black and Gold out back and shot it in the back of the head. And then we had NXT 2.0 with the super colorful rainbows. I stopped watching NXT at that point as well. And it's understandable because they took the thing that you loved and they completely annihilated it. But it's been evolving. It's been growing throughout the years. And it's now such a great, fully fledged show with up and comers that are absolutely going to be carrying the WWE for the next 20 plus years. All right, so let's start with Baron Corbin versus Braun Breaker. And what I honestly feel should have been a Falls Count Anywhere match, or should have had some stipulation to allow for more brutality. But even without a brutal stipulation, this was one of the more brutal matches of the night because the match took like 6 minutes before it actually started because they started just beating the ever-living piss out of each other outside of the ring before the match actually began. And I would say, weirdly enough, the weakest parts of this match were when they were in the ring trying to have a regular match. Whenever it would spill out to the outside, it was fantastic. We had a great 2 table spots, one where we had a senton where the announce table didn't break, and then kind of like a choke slam where Braun Breaker gets put through the table. Overall, I love how chaotic and how real, like almost like a shoot fight this felt. I will say a little bit weird to have, shoot, I forgot his name. The guy that manages Come Tuesday, Von Wagner, comes and does a slight distraction on Braun Breaker, and then Baron Corbin gets the end of days, a beautiful end of days, to pick up the victory on Braun Breaker, a victory that I was not expecting Baron Corbin to get. Perhaps, maybe this is Braun Breaker going to the main roster. I think it's time. I think that he has now fully fledged himself as a character worker, both as a heel and as a baby face. We know that he's got the chops in the ring, and he has just so many fantastic matchups available to him in the main roster. I don't think that there's anything left for him to do in NXT anymore. Baron Corbin, on the other hand, I could see him being next in line for an NXT World title shot. So Baron Corbin going down to NXT was such a great decision overall for not just NXT because he's helping put over talent and making them look great, but for Baron Corbin as well because he has done such a great job of resetting his career. This match gets a thumbs up for me. Next up, we have Trick Williams versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio for the North American title, and we have a new champion in Trick Williams. This was probably the weakest technical match of the night, in my opinion. I think that it's still very weird to have Dragon Lee be the special guest referee of this match, especially considering there's obvious beef between those two. So the logic of adding him as a special guest referee to be impartial has always just not sat well with me. And yes, I do love Dominic Mysterio and I love to play the heel character and say how much I love Dominic Mysterio, but he didn't look particularly great tonight. Trick Williams didn't look fantastic tonight. Physically, he always looks amazing. Trick Williams just has that look of a guy that you want to build around. So I see big things here for Trick Williams. But overall, probably the most disappointing match of the night. Cool to see Trick Williams finally get a title in NXT. And I'm not sure what this means for Dominic Mysterio. I'm assuming he's done in NXT and maybe it's time to bring somebody else from the main roster down to NXT to have a longer run. But I think he's done with NXT, and I think so is Dragon Lee. So I think they're going to be moving both of those guys back to main roster full time. And Trick Williams is going to be one of those guys that's going to be carrying the middle of the card for NXT for a while here. Overall, put this kind of like in the middle. Like, it was a very mediocre match, and I personally didn't love the result. I think that Dom still had some more life and some more juice left with that North American Championship. Next up, we have the NXT Tag Titles 4-way match between The Family, OTM, the Creed brothers, and Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. And I knew that this match was going to be fantastic, and it didn't disappoint. The thing that I was screaming from the mountaintops is for everybody to look out for Humberto Carrillo and Garza to steal the show for this match, and they absolutely did. They were the best part of this match alongside Julius Creed. Overall, this was such a fun, hectic match. I didn't love this one spot. It's the same spot they did with Bianca Belair at SummerSlam, where there's a fake knee injury for Tony D'Angelo. He goes to the back and then heroically comes out to help win the match. I didn't like it for Bianca Belair. I didn't like it for Tony D'Angelo. I really don't understand the purpose of having that spot in this match, considering it was a fatal 4-way. Either way, I didn't love that, but the match itself was still fantastic. I know a lot of people wanted Authors of Pain to appear at the end of this match or at some point in the match. They didn't, spoilers, but overall this match does get a thumbs up. It was just a good high octane match with a lot of cool multi-man spots. Oh, and I should say The Family won. They retained the NXT Tag Titles. Next up, we have Noam Dar versus Butch, aka Pete Dunne. And I gotta tell you fellas, I despise Heritage Cup rules. I cannot stand this type of match, mostly because it's constant start-stop. There's very little time to really get into the flow of things. For those that don't know what Heritage Cup rules is, it is 6 3-minute rounds. And the reason why I hate this style of match is because always, every single time, the only fucking round that matters is the last round. There's no point in the other 5 rounds because it always just comes down to the last 3 minutes. And overall, like, those two guys have great chemistry, but this match in the final round got just way too overbooked. It basically became a 7v1. All 4 members of Metaphor and all 3 members of Gallus came out and attacked Butch, helping Noam Dar win. So it got a little bit silly. It was too overbooked. This is the only thumbs down of the night for me. I didn't love this. It could have been so much better because, again, Noam Dar and Butch are so good, and there were flashes of brilliance there, but whenever there were flashes of brilliance there, the rounds would end. And when it was the final round, when they really started to cook, it got overbooked and so many people got involved. Thumbs down for me. And Noam Dar ended up winning because of all of these interferences, so Noam Dar is still your Heritage Cup champion. Next up, we have Elia Dragonov versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. And if Dave Meltzer doesn't give this a 5-star match, you should all collectively stop listening to that delusional idiot, because this was fantastic. This was from beginning to end such a fun technical marvel, so hard hitting, so many clothespins, such a cool finish as well. Overall, this is an absolute thumbs up from me. I personally believe that this is in a match of the year contention. It was just 21 minutes of just brilliance. That's the best way to put it. It was just a brilliant, clean, hard-hitting wrestling match that everyone should watch, and this should get you excited for some time down the line. Elia Dragonov coming up to the main roster. This match was fantastic. I can't say any more better things about both Carmelo Hayes and Elia Dragonov. Elia Dragonov is your new NXT champion, very, very much deserved, and there are so many fantastic matches that I'm looking forward to with Dragonov as champion. And the main event was the NXT Women's Championship match between Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton in a wonderful street fight. To me, this is going to go down as the greatest women's street fight of all time and potentially the best women's match of the year. For me, I still have Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley night 1 of WrestleMania above it, but of course the stakes of that are so much higher. The venue, right? The atmosphere of that match is so much bigger. But I will say, I think I had more fun watching this match than any other women's match for the entire year. And this is how you elevate NXT talent even if they lose, because Becky Lynch did end up retaining the NXT championship, but the real winner in this match wasn't Becky Lynch, it was Tiffany Stratton, because she came out looking like $1,000,000. She became a superstar tonight. This is how you can end up winning in the face of defeat, because Tiffany Stratton, I don't understand how she's able to do the things that she does with little to no fear, with the little experience that she actually has in professional wrestling, and she makes everything look so clean. And today was a perfect example of what little fear she has, because she took some of the craziest spots and bumps that I've seen women take in a very long time. She did her prettiest moonsault onto a bed of chairs and face planted on the chairs. It was so chaotically beautiful. This was, even though Elia Dragonov and Carmelo Hayes is the best match of the night, this was my favorite match of the night, because I was just smiling ear to ear as to how ridiculous this match was, because we had a swanton to the outside table spot. We had what we thought was going to be thumbtacks, but ended up being severed Barbie parts. We had a barbed wire baseball bat. We had a spot where they went through the barricade. We had shopping carts. We had Tiffany Stratton bleeding like Jon Moxley. This was just such a fun car wreck. I cannot recommend this match enough. This is one of the best women's matches of the year, potentially the best match of the entire show, depending on what you like. I still like Elia Dragonov and Carmelo Hayes more, though. This was so many thumbs up. I love this match. Overall, this PLE may be the best, most complete PLE of the year from head to toe. There was a couple of lulls here and there, but overall, this No Mercy NXT gets 35 thumbs up for me. If you were one of those people that stopped watching NXT after Black and Gold was discontinued, I'm telling you, I will continue to scream this from the rooftops. Please give this NXT a chance. Thank you very much for watching. Get out of here. Congratulations to Cavier for winning the $1,200 giveaway, and YSL Tony 56 for winning the $1,500 giveaway. And Capital One has been kind enough to do another giveaway, this time of $1,750, or a gaming PC plus a monitor. You can take the cash or the computer and monitor. If you win, you can have one or the other. But to enter, it's super simple. You just have to go to the very top link in the description or in the pinned comments. Once you click it, it'll take you to this landing page here. Once you're here, click here to enter giveaway. Then make sure you put in your email and your username. Make sure you put in a valid email, because that's where we're gonna contact you if you win. From there, it'll take you to the Capital One shopping extension landing page, where you can install the extension with one click. And once the extension is installed onto your browser, you are in and you are set to go. You don't need to make an account with Capital One. Just make sure that the extension is fully installed and you're in. Thank you very much to Capital One Shopping for sponsoring this month's streams.